All right, so good afternoon. My name is Prince Moba. I'm here in the offices of LIGIS. I've come to speak with the executive director, right?
Director General.
Director General, sorry for that. The Director General, his name is Richard F. Ngafuan. Richard Ngafuan is now in the seat of LIGIS. Of course, you know all of the stories, the controversy during the past government when it comes to census and all those kinds of things. Those are questions we're going to ask another time. But I've come to do a follow-up on this information we gathered this morning or during the morning hour that some individuals, you're going to tell us, you were told that they were mappers, those that worked for you, sometimes they were contracted, they work for LIGIS, and government, through LIGIS, has not paid them. They went to court, the court ruled in their favor, and they came and locked your offices this morning. I mean, how can you clarify that, sir?
Yes, and you know, from the beginning you talked about a lot of the controversies, right?
Can you just, for the viewers, just talk a little bit about yourself, Mr. Ngafuan?
Yeah, I'm the Director General for LIGIS.
Okay.
We inherited those controversies, especially some of the problems from the 2022 census. We realized that through a court ruling that we received upon taking office, that about 58 persons were hired in 2022 to do mapping exercise for the 2022 census. Those individuals, for some reasons, the past LIGIS administration had an open-ended contract.
What is that? What is open-ended contract?
They did not have a fixed duration for the termination of the contract.
Okay.
So even after the work was completed, the contract was rolling, and that led to LIGIS incurring liabilities to pay them. And for some reason, I don't know why, since 2022 up to 2023, the past administration did not settle the arrears of those people.
Okay.
So when we came, we inherited this through a court citation because we saw that there was a court ruling for LIGIS administration to pay these people, these 58 mapping assistants. So through our lawyer, Consider Gordon Varma, we have made initial representations to the court. We discussed that the court should be able to give the LIGIS administration time because since we came, we have been faced with a lot of issues, especially you have seen, we are now trying to renovate this place, you know, making sure that we address some of the pressing challenges that we inherited. Very serious challenges. The infrastructure, very poor. Yeah, but you are seeing it already, you know, infrastructure poor. So it is now that we're trying to ensure that we renovate this place, make sure that we train LIGIS staff to be able to collect data, analyze them to inform policy decisions, especially when we are now moving towards the arrest agenda for inclusive development. So based upon that, this morning I was on my way to serve as keynote speaker for the Liberian Monetary Evaluation Network, which I eventually went to. There were sheriffs here who said they came from the court upon the orders of the court to shut the offices of LIGIS down because LIGIS has failed to fulfill, you know, the terms of the code in terms of the payment of those 58 persons. So the Deputy Director of Administration, which is Mariah Gelayine, went there. I called the judge to ask that he gave me, you know, the opportunity to go, you know, on my speaking engagement, and the Deputy Director went. So as we have been saying with our lawyer, we made a commitment that we will work with the Ministry of Finance,
okay,
to be able to address this liability because it's a court ruling. We will discuss with.
How much are we talking about? Maybe if you could just.
The overall, it has been upwards of Now it has gone to is around 513,912.
513,912.
513,912.
For the 58%.
Initially, this was not the amount.
Okay.
But because interest and so forth, penalties.
How do you feel paying that kind of money as a government? It's supposed to pay people when they work for you. How do you feel?
No, but this is not this administration.
I know.
Listen to me. This administration that we have will not hire people and not pay them. This administration honor the Joseph Newman Booker-led government will not hire people and have them roaming around without being paid. This is a responsible government that will ensure that people who work are being paid. This is a problem that we inherited.
I know.
And it is people say government is continuity. So it is unfortunate that we inherited some of the excesses and iniquities of the past. So we are now faced with the responsibility to address this issue. And since it is a matter before the court, we cannot contest matters that have already gone through court ruling. So we will be able.
You made the ruling on the table.
Yes, we made the ruling on the table.
So what have you learned that is responsible for even though you said your government would never hire people and will not pay them? Somebody watching might say, until we see at the end of the day, at the end of the 6 year. But the question I'm asking is, what have you discovered that was responsible for this from from the past government?
I told you one. The first thing is that hiring people. You need to hire people with a fixed duration of employment and fixed duration in terms of the terms of service. You cannot hire people and say, "Well, stick around. Whenever we have tax, you come back," without having the cash to be able to pay them for the extended period of time. This was wrong, and it is unfortunate because LIGIS has been in the news for many bad reasons. And we have not come here to replicate the iniquities of the past, to be able to do the very things that were done. Then what change have we brought? So we have come to make the change, and part of the change is to work on solving some of the problems that we made. So obviously, we have discussed with our lawyer. We'll be talking to the folks at the Ministry of Finance. With the possibility of looking at handling it through domestic debt, but this is a responsible administration. That is the reason why, when it happened, we immediately, without delay, made representation to the court to be able to solve the problem, because we have a lot to do. Currently, just this going, we sent 26 persons or 29 persons. We are about to send 29 persons to various universities across Africa, Asia, and Europe to be trained to come back to help our country. We are about to engage in a lot of data collection exercises. As I said, we will revamp this place and give it a very new look, because when you're talking about transforming the data infrastructure of our country, you cannot do that within the absence of having conducive working environment of the people. So with doing all of these things, we will begin to address some of the excesses of the past as they come along in a responsible way. When necessary, we will make representation to the Ministry of Justice. If there are sufficient reasons that we realize that those excesses border on corruption, we will come and make public announcement that actions will be taken, because we cannot just be bearing the responsibilities of the past without taking the requisite steps to make sure that those who are responsible for the wrong decisions of the past will be held accountable.
Finally, two questions. One, so what is the assurance to those who were hired and then they went to court and then they needed money? What can you say to them? That's one, as an assurance, why you're working with the Ministry of Finance, and so that they can hear something from you on this interview. That's one.
Yeah, obviously they are Liberians. These are Liberians. And it will shock you to know that we know some of the people, and some of them are even shocked. Some of them are even shocked that their names are on the list. So definitely, we will. Those who have actual claims, we'll work with them to make sure that those claims are being handled. Those individuals who believe that this agenda of trying to transform our nation, that they cannot be holding their government to liability if they wish, they can go and withdraw the claims. We have had individuals already saying that they might go to the court and withdraw the claims. So if that is the case, we'll have the number of persons reducing. But be that as it may, we are a responsible government. A responsible government will first and foremost settle what liabilities and debt. And the foremost we have happens to be this. And shockingly, let me just say this. It is not only this claim that we received that we saw.
Okay.
Our lawyer is compiling all the various liabilities, and we will be first and foremost discussing with the Ministry of Justice to review, the GSC to review all of them, because some of them are legal, they are before the court. So the Ministry of Justice, through our lawyer, will review some of those claims, because it is actually alarming to see some of the liabilities that were left. And sometimes I ask myself, were they deliberate? We inherited a LIGIS where the average salary of staff of LIGIS is not up to $450, which is serious. You cannot have people working as statisticians with very low salary. We are now in the process of submitting our budget to the Ministry of Finance for the next fiscal year. And part of that is to increase the condition of the people that work with us. How do we do that? We already have 500,000 liability to address. So with all of these issues, there is a court ruling already. I'm not a lawyer to be able to know, but we cannot contest the rulings of the court. Yeah.
Thank you. Let me ask this final one. You touched some of them. From the onset, you said LIGIS were in the news for a lot of negative reasons. I mean, even though you will not be here when the next census is held, 26-year time of your government. Yeah, I know that was you will not be here when the next census is held. But where do you want to take LIGIS to? I mean, that we are not going to experience what we experienced. I mean, after the 2008 census, we went several years before having another census. I mean, how are you going to make the institution to be prepared, to be ready at any time when those kinds of the national engagement are coming up?
Several reasons. The foremost thing is that before you launch any census, you should have the requisite expertise to do the census, from the design of the questionnaire, the design of the tool, from the formulation of the tool. Now we have gone to digital census, meaning we are no more collecting paper questionnaires. Questions are not being asked using paper questionnaires. Again, we are using what we call the computer-assisted processing devices, the copy device. So you need one thing to train people, is another thing for people to have the integrity to do what is right. Because no matter what training they have, if they do not have the requisite integrity to do what is right, things will be done wrongly. And that is the reason, if you check in the LIGIS Act, there is an oath where each LIGIS staff should be able to